Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Health and Wellness Podcast. This is Coach Val Fiott. Today, we're talking about a really important topic. This is exercise psychology, also called sports psychology, and how your exercise psychology is actually hurting your health. I know most people don't think about exercise psychology or your relationship with exercise as necessarily being on par with something like smoking or having chronic negative thoughts or being an overeater. But the honest truth is, if you have the wrong psychology, you can't even get out of the gate. You can't get anything positive really done for yourself until you really have your mind in the right frame of mind. If you're not calibrated right to your attitudes towards not only exercise itself, but to nutrition and lifestyle and longevity and all the other great pieces. So before we get into it, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and like and subscribe. By liking the video, more people get to see it. By subscribing, you get more videos like this in the future. And certainly we want to see you back for more. So anyway, let's go ahead and start with a really great example that I'd studied way back in around 1994 or so when I was in school studying exercise science. We had a class on exercise physiology, and I'm going to give you a quick real life example from this class that we studied then, because in these last 30 years, it's always gone through my head. It's such a critical example of how your psychology can absolutely trump all the exercise science and nutrition science that you put forth into your life, all the healthy eating, the lifestyle change, working out. None of it really matters, right, unless your psychology is dialed in right. And I'll give you this example. So there was an NFL team that historically was winning. They were really doing well with their coach. And one of the things the coach had them doing was going for a steak dinner prior to, not after, but prior to a really big game. Now, normally that kind of behavior is really frowned upon because steak dinners weigh you down. The nitrogen, the protein, it actually slows your performance. And so it doesn't make any physiological sense to say, I'm going to take the whole team and slow them down and weigh them down right before a big game. I mean, that runs counter to what you'd normally want to do. But the team was winning. The coach, for whatever reason, started this process, this tradition, and it was working for them. It built morale. The guys on the team loved to get together and get psychologically keyed in to the game they were about to play, and they'd be visualizing and they'd be working together like a brotherhood, and they were winning. Well, somehow that coach ended up off the team, and they brought in a new coach, and the new coach immediately put an end to these steak dinners that the team was so emotionally connected to. Again, they were emotionally connected. Their morale was improved and they felt like a brotherhood. And guess what? The team started losing. They went from having a great record to a terrible one very quickly. And so the new coach realized that the team was complaining. They didn't like him. They were complaining that they lost their steak dinners. And once he brought the steak dinners back, the team started doing well again. Now, certainly it's not that simplistic. There's a lot of other factors going on too. But this states something really huge. And I'm bringing this to you in this podcast because I know this is a prevalent issue. I've had so many clients come to me and say, Val, I've read that you'll have more energy, for example, exercising in the middle of the day instead of in the evening. And I'll say, yeah, in general, that's roundabout true, sure. And they'll say, but I feel better in the evening. I just feel like I'm ready to work out in the evening. And I say, then do that. Then do what your psychology wants you to do in a case like that. Because the difference between exercising at the optimal time of day for most people or when you feel your best, that's not going to make a big difference on your health outcomes anyway. So play to your psychology. Your psychology matters. You want to be happy with your program and it should be sustainable. It shouldn't feel like punishment. Your fitness, your exercise, your nutrition, it shouldn't feel like something that's keeping you from being who you really want to be and that's suppressing you and I'm got to go to the gym again. It shouldn't be like that at all. So in these kind of cases, you want to play to your psychology when it's a situation that doesn't necessarily matter that much either way. Play to your psychology. Now, of course, there's a limit because if I gave someone, let's say, 70% of their one repetition max for a group of muscles, and we're doing strength training, that 70% is there for a reason, and that's going to be clinically appropriate to build muscle. Now, if that same client told me, well, my psychology is not feeling it, I want to use much less weight, and their intention is to use 30%, 30% is not going to be really feasible. I mean, we're going to have to really change things quite a bit to be even remotely beneficial, especially if they have certain goals like improving bone mineral density or anything like that. So in a case like that, I might say, well, this is a time I need your psychology to come to the clinical reality of what's necessary, right? So there's, obviously there are limits to how far we can compromise with your psychology. If someone told me I hate exercise, I hate eating right, I'm never going to do either, obviously they're going to have pretty bad health outcomes in most cases. So, what I'd suggest is don't look at exercise or nutrition or lifestyle change or anything that's good for you as something that is a be all end all and that's it and you've got to do it. Instead, look at like the 80 to 90% rule. Look at, okay, most of these things that I can make tolerable, I should do. The few that I just can't get into, all right, maybe we don't do those or we just don't do them as often or as deeply or for as long, right? There's lots of variables that you can play with to make your lifestyle and your health and your exercise program be a little bit more maneuverable for you, more manageable, and fit more into your psychology. And again, vice versa. You can work on your psychology as well. There's plenty of cognitive restructuring methods and all kinds of strategies that we use in life coaching and in health coaching to help people start to rethink their relationship with exercise, nutrition, healthy living, and also to kind of work on their identity a little bit, to just change the way, just slightly morph the way that they see these things. So, anyway, there's a lot more to be said on that on a more unique level. Feel free to reach out to me individually. You've got my contact information down below. If you don't work with me, work with another top health coach, life coach, and personal trainer who understands these psychological and physiological steps, these stages of behavioral change to improve your life. Because, as the title here says, your psychology, your exercise related psychology especially, will absolutely be a huge detriment to your health, to your longevity, to your health metrics, to where you're going each day with your decisions. And if you're making decisions that are more destructive than productive, well, why would you let that go on year after year, decade after decade, when you can work on your psychology, intervene, rethink your identity and the place that wellness and exercise have in your life, and therefore get set up on a path that's really going to be more constructive for you. So, anyway, everybody, again, reach out to me anytime. If you did not earlier, please like and subscribe this video. It helps the algorithm and helps me get more great videos like this to you. Please let me know in the comments what you thought, if this was helpful or not helpful, or if you disagree with anything I said below. As always, I'm looking forward to your health and your wellness success.